Do you have enough light in your life? Are you soaring in the joy around you? Are you stuck and unable to make life happen? Stay tuned for the Rabbi Jenny Show, where you will learn how to bask in the light and find more joy and meaning in life. Call to talk to Rabbi Jenny at 888-565-1470 and email questions and comments at rabbijenny.com. And now, if you're ready, stay tuned for the Rabbi who will light your world on fire, Rabbi Jenny.
Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. It is Rabbi Jenny and I don't know, a light came on and a light came on in me, and it is going to be a fun show. Happy Wednesday. Let me see. 2 main ideas of the Rabbi Jenny Show. Oh, please, before we get moving and going on the Rabbi Jenny Show, before we light you up significantly, I would like to remind you that you can listen to us on iHeartRadio if you happen to be out of the area. You can always type in WWNN 1470 in Boca, and you can go on iHeartRadio. You can also check out the show on YouTube. You can go to the Rabbi Jenny Skylark page on Facebook, and you can Twitter me at Jenny Rabbi, and check out my new posts, the Daily Lights, on the Huffington Post contributor page, and you'll catch those on my Twitter posts daily. This is an exciting day. I can tell. The topic of today is eyes of faith, learning to see the world through eyes of faith. And the character in the Torah that is our inspiration today is Joshua, or Yehoshua, and we will get to that. But first, we have to get to the 2 main ideas of the Rabbi Jenny Show. And if you were sitting here with me, which I really wish you were, listeners, I wish you were right here with me so I could give you a hug and a kiss, because I truly love you. But I would remind you of the first main idea of the Rabbi Jenny Show, or you would tell me, because you've been listening so much that you know it. And it is this, my friends: the world is happening for you and not to you. You hear me? The world is happening for you and not to you. 100% of the time, no matter what's going on, it is happening for you and not to you. And why is it happening for you and not to you? Because you are divine love, light, energy, and you are always expanding. And a more evolved way to look at that, through the Hebrew Jewish mysticism eyes of Tikkun Olam, or the healing of the earth, is that you really are always just love and light, and your entire purpose on this earth is to remember that you're always love and light. And all these things that get in the way, you are to get into a state of remembering the divine in you. And that leads us straight to our topic. And our topic is inspired by Torah this week, and it's inspired by one of my favorite characters, and it's actually the final character in the evolution of the soul, which is in the Torah, and it is Yehoshua, or Joshua. Joshua is kind of like an exciting character because he represents the positive view. He represents the inner child. He represents the ability to see the good or the God in everything. He represents a little bit of a naivete and clear vision of God as a force within us that can bring us the love and light that we actually deserve, or deserve isn't a great word, that we just actually are. Let's just go with are. Let's not talk about deserving or earning or why should I or blaming or anything fun like that. Let's just say we're love and light. We need to remember, and Joshua's going to help us do that. Last week we talked about Jeremiah and tapping into the inner Jeremiah, and this week's going to be all about tapping into your inner Yehoshua. So let me set the stage for all you people, and then I want to tell you about something that happened today, and I actually tapped my inner Joshua. I did, because I so easily went to negative perspective in my mind. No matter how many good things were around me, one negative thing happened, and I was like, why is this happening to me? I mean, it shaded the whole thing. And see, that's where Joshua comes in, because let me just tell you this story. We've told you before. So Moses is out there, and he sends out these scouts to scout out the land that God's promised for everyone. And he sends out Joshua and Caleb and 10 other guys, and they go out and scout out the land that God has promised, and they come back, and Joshua and Caleb say, hey man, this is ours, the fruit's good, the land's good, the honey's good, everything's there. There's some big people there, but we can take them. God's got our back. We can take them. But the other 10 scouts are like, I don't know, they're big, maybe we should go be slaves again. And then all the fear and all the doubt creeps in, and the voices of Joshua and Caleb get quieted. The voices of faith get quieted, and doubt wins, and they end up staying in the wilderness. Now, the moral of the story is this, okay? Because where we are now, we're a little bit further along in the journey of your soul, because we're a little bit further along and some major things have happened. Those 10 scouts, gone, dead. The ones with doubt, gone. So the message in scripture the message in the code is that you have to let go of fear. You have to let go of doubt to keep advancing to your realization. Okay, you got to let go of those 10 doubting voices, and you got to hold on to those two, Joshua and Caleb. But something really cool happens, and it's not cool in a earthly way. It's cool in a code way. When we think of like each character being us, Aaron, who's the priest, who's Moses' brother, who's the voice, who's the rules, who locks it down, he's logic. If I just sacrifice this animal and pray this way, then God's going to be with us. It's that very logical, ego-minded brain. And Aaron kicks the bucket. Aaron dies. Okay? So from a code standpoint, where we are is that Aaron has passed away. So if you think of this, I want you to think of this like a movie, like the movie The Matrix. Okay? So Aaron passes away. The character, that energy of Aaron. The 10 doubters pass away. And now we know we're coming to the end. We're coming to the end of the story, and God says, listen, Moses, you can't go. I'm not letting you in. You're not going to make it into the Zion. But Joshua is. Yehoshua is. This kid that has always from the beginning seen with eyes of faith, he's the one that's going to get in there. Now, he is not a he. He is a character, and he is a combination of Hebrew letters. That's a code, and those are the code inside of you, people. I need you to know that all of these letters, all of these words reside inside of your soul, and it is a language that you will remember as you listen to the words that I'm telling you. Yehoshua is in you. The ability to tap that energy, to see your life from a positive perspective, to envision the God, the divine within everything that's happening within you is in you. And we're going to talk about how do you do that? How do you say to yourself, oh my God, this is a Joshua moment. I'm in doubt. How do I tap that force inside of me? How do I remember all the good? How do I remember the times in my life where coincidences happen? How do I look to the good and to the positive? So what happens right now is that, we know that Joshua moves forward. I want to tell you a little bit about his name, Yehoshua. Remember I told you that sometimes the English names last week don't match the Hebrew names, and that Hebrew is a code. And I'm looking so forward to the upcoming YouTube channel, the Rabbi Jenny YouTube channel, so we can highlight each Hebrew letter for you, and you can really get the visual. Even if you're driving in your car, you can go home after work and you can tap into the Rabbi Jenny channel and you can read the lessons on each of the letters, because it's really fantastic. There's actually 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, and there are actual 22 sacred pathways that make you. So the order of the word, or the order of the Hebrew name, is actually tracking a pattern of qualities that will assist you in positive eyes of faith. They will assist you in tapping into your inner Yehoshua. Now, Yehoshua's name is actually very connected to your heart, seeing through your heart. So seeing with faith involves seeing through the eyes of your heart, remembering with your heart. And it's also connected to a sacred center of chesed, or compassion or mercy. So you're seeing things through the eyes of compassion. You're seeing through the eyes of kindness. You're seeing without judgment, looking through the eyes of that, and looking through your heart. And these are the pathways that are highlighted in Yehoshua with the letters of Yud and Hey and Shin. The coolest thing about Yehoshua's name is that a lot of names that end with Ah, a lot of words in Hebrew that end with Ah, actually end with the letter Hey or the little Aleph, but not Joshua's name. Joshua's name ends with this Hebrew letter Ayin, and Ayin means eyes. Ayin means eyes. So Joshua is all about which eyes are you going to see with. Because the ayin comes at the end, and it comes at the end of 4 letters that actually make up the male and female names of God. Yud, He, Vav, He, and the Shin for the Shekhinah. And so those 4 letters are followed by the eyes. So are you going to see, listeners, with your inner eyes or your outer eyes? Are you believing what you're seeing, or are you believing what you're seeing inside? Sometimes the world kind of gives us evidence that things are really going wrong, but we feel inside of our heart that everything is going to be okay. Those are your inner eyes, that inner knowing, that inner remembering, tapping into that inner sacred faith vision. I want to read you this amazing quote by Meister Eckhart that I love. I'm getting back into my quotes here on the Rabbi Jenny Show. Meister Eckhart says this so beautifully in his sermons. He says, "The eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. My eye and God's eye are one eye, one seeing, one knowing, one love." So when we tap into the Yehoshua, when we tap into the Joshua within us, we're tapping into our ability to see through our heart with the eyes of God. And that is when we can see the divine in everything. And we can see with faith. And when things aren't going the way we think they should go in our life, or we don't get something that we think we want in our life, which, I swear it happens daily, we don't slip into that why me or victim state of mind or negativity or shade or the logic even, to try to connect the dots and figure things out. We can just sit in it and know that we'll ride into Zion. We'll ride into where we're going, that we're protected and that we're loved. There is a article that I read called Two Ways of Seeing. And it's actually a Christian article. But it's talking about this story about the scouts and Joshua and who Joshua is. And it talks about how Joshua really masters this idea of your eyes. And I want to read you this paragraph because it really highlights what I want you to think about this week on the Rabbi Jenny Show. I want you to rewatch it, and I want you to say to yourself, maybe when you get in those states where the world on the outside just doesn't look like things are okay, I want you to just be like, Yehoshua, like Joshua. Oh yeah, everything's okay. This is just the part of me that forgets. Joshua, remember Joshua, it's in you. Okay, your eyes are all right. They will see things all right, but the question is, what is behind your eyes, doubt or faith? That is the thing that really counts. Doubts will magnify your troubles, will make them look very great. Doubts will make your power look very small. They will make your ability to fight look as nothing. They will make you feel like running or surrendering. Faith will not work that way, Joshua. It will fill you with courage. It will put the song of victory in your heart. Listeners, your heart, faith behind your eyes. Look out by faith. Remember that God will fight your battles. Be strong and of good courage, and you will overcome your foes. But doubts will spoil things for you. Doubts will take away what courage you have. Doubts will ruin you if you let them. So get rid of them. See, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to stop there in this article because it's just not that easy to sweep things away. What you need to do is cultivate. I'm not a big believer. We always have to pick the weeds in our gardens, but if we don't ever plant new flowers, if we don't ever plant new ways of looking and thinking about things, then we won't ever grow anything new. So I want you to plant this idea of Joshua into your mind, like we did with Jeremiah and we've done with Moses and Miriam and Aaron. I want you to get with this idea of your inner visionary, your inner faith, your inner lion. Like Joshua is the part that just nothing can stop him. He knows what God did. He remembers, and he was just a little boy. So he's that inner child. He's that kid with the sheet from the bed with the cape tied around his neck and I don't know what we would use with the sword, like a mop handle with a sword running around the house going, I can do this. And I really think that the inner child's where it's at. I'm studying right now, since coming back from Maui, from Hawaii. I'm really doing a lot of work with Dr. Hulen and Joy Vitale's Ho'oponopono, this whole idea of love, I love you being the solution to everything, and that it's very similar to the idea of the Ein Sof in the beginning and then the zero, and that the divine is light, and that's all there really is anyways. But he said to me today in this class when I was listening to it that we actually really have to go back to this inner child, this inner Joshua, and we have to go back to this inner pure part of ourselves and say, I love you. It's okay. You can let go now. I know I've taught you something different. I know I've taught you, hold on, use your fear, figure out all the alternatives, analyze, criticize, get control. And I know that I've done that to you, you precious child. But now I'm going to teach you something different. And I'm going to teach you that I love you. And I'm going to teach you to let go. And I'm going to teach you a new way to be. And together we'll be free. And together we'll all evolve and find joy and peace and realize amazing things that we couldn't even possibly imagine before when we were trying to analyze and get control of things. This is an exciting show today. I have one of our favorite guests, Dr. Mayo's, coming up. And we're talking about eyes of faith, Joshua, and seeing seeing the divine. This is Rabbi Jenny. We'll be right back. Keep listening. Hi, it's Rabbi Jenny from The Rabbi Jenny Show. Are you planning a wedding, baby naming, or bar bat mitzvah? Have you recently adopted a pet, bought a new home, or opened a new business? Do you have an important anniversary coming up and would like to renew your vows? Have you recently lost a loved one and need some compassion and care through this process? These are some of the many life events that touch our lives. It is at these moments that we need a special person for guidance and compassion and care to officiate and guide us through those moments. Call me, Rabbi Jenny, at 561-346-8207 to guide you and officiate these life events. 561-346-8207. Rabbi Jenny, for personal compassion and care and loving guidance for the important events of your life. The presidential candidates are talking about it. The talk show hosts are talking about it. It's all over the news. Maybe it's time you should start talking about it. Maybe it's time for you to get help. If you or someone you love is suffering from a heroin addiction, Epiphany Resources has the solution for you. Heroin addiction manifests in an apathy and a disinterest in life. At Epiphany Resources, Rabbi Jenny and her acclaimed clinical team reignite and empower their clients to embrace life for a bright future in recovery. With groundbreaking creative and spiritual modalities combined with narrative reframing and cognitive behavioral therapy, the team at Epiphany Resources neutralize the cravings for heroin and reawaken one's desire for joy and life. It's time to talk about it. It's time to heal. It's time to recover from heroin addiction. Contact Epiphany Resources at www.etcfl.com or call 561-777-0241. Epiphany Resources. It's time to begin. The after-school hours between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. are when millions of children go home alone or are without adult supervision. Statistics have shown that during this time, gang involvement, teenage pregnancy, and drug use begins. For the past 15 years, For the Children, Inc., a place where children come first, has been a pioneer in providing quality after-school programming for underprivileged youth aged 5 to 18 in Palm Beach County. Our children are our future. To ensure their success, they must have equal access to quality educational, personal growth, and leadership tools. For the Children, Inc. provides them all. Donate now to For the Children, Inc. at www.forthechildrenfirst.org.
This public service announcement for the Children, Inc. was brought to you by the law offices of Manjula Caladini, Esquire, concentrating in immigration law. www.immigrationassociates.net. You have been listening to Rabbi Jenny, who asks, are you ready to bring more light and love and joy into your life? A spiritually uplifting show that will change your world. Call in at 888-565-1470 or email at rabbijenny.com and share your thoughts with Rabbi Jenny. Now, back to our show.
Hey, welcome back. It's Rabbi Jenny. Happy Wednesday. We're talking about having eyes of faith, and we're talking about Joshua. I just wanted to bring up one thing in Scripture that's really important, a real clue to the essence of Joshua's name. When God speaks to Joshua at the beginning of the final book in the scroll, he says to him, thine eyes have seen. You know, it's that quality in Joshua, that Joshua sees things from a positive perspective. I love this quote by Frances Hodgson Burnett, who wrote my favorite book as a little girl, The Secret Garden. She says, if you look the right way, you can see the whole world as a garden. I just love that quote. So we're going to introduce right now our bad Mama Gemma. Rabbi Jenny. Bad. Mama Gemma. Bad Mama Gemma. We are here today with Dr. Maya, and who's a regular here on the Rabbi Jenny Show. Dr. Maya, we don't even have your name under there. You're just a regular old pro. Dr. Maya is here, and Dr. Maya from the Dr. Maya Clinic. And Dr. Maya actually works with me at Epiphany Resources, teaching Qigong and doing acupuncture and Chinese medicine. Hi!
Hi.
Did she just got back from Russia?
I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, you were pretty far away. I was checking out the pictures and everything. And
yeah.
It's beautiful. What was it like being kind of back home?
Well, Russia is not home. Home is Armenia, but I spent a lot of time in Russia.
That's what I meant.
When the childhood, it was good. It was very different. I was surprised of so much art and culture, and young people. They don't drink, they don't smoke, they dance, they sing.
Wow.
It was very refreshing, and I love that.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So let's talk about our topic. We're talking about seeing kind of things through the eyes of faith. What do you think, as a doctor of Chinese medicine, what do you think that causes people to kind of shut down in fear? Like, what do you think is the biggest reason? Or, I mean, there's so many reasons. It's like what kind of question was that? I don't even know, Maya, what kind of question was that? But I'm getting more lax here, getting more kind of comfy here on the Rabbi Jenny show. So, what do you think when you encounter that in clients, that they're not moving forward? Because you said, I've encountered people before the show. You said, I've encountered people can't get out of bed because of regret. Regrets. Okay, so there we are. Okay, this is where we are. So let's talk about regret and where that stops people.
It stops people from everything, because I have patients even older than 75 or 80 years old, and they have so much regret that they didn't do certain things, that they could have done that, or they shouldn't have done that, they should have married, they shouldn't marry, and now that stops them from living their life. They paralyzed about making decisions, because they say things like, I made the right decision, I made the wrong decision at that point, and my life could have been completely different. And that puts people into living in some, it's funny because it's in the past, but in the future, in the past, it's like in a fantasy of the past.
What does that look like energetically? Because I would think as, I know I've had sessions with you before. Dr. Maya is fantastic, by the way. You can, and I will give you her website, how to contact her. But what would you say that looks like? Like, if somebody is stuck in the past on a regret from their childhood, would the area of regret appear in different parts of the body? Like, if it was a business or a personal relationship?
Actually, all regret probably appears in lungs, because then you cannot get inspired. You cannot take a deep breath.
Okay,
a lot of time people just stop breathing. They really sitting and not breathing. And once I told one of the patients, I said, you sit here for 15 minutes and I haven't seen you breathe once. That's how shallow it is. Because if they cannot breathe, if they hold back and live in a fantasy of the past, something that never happened but could happen, then they don't breathe and they shut down their ability to be inspired, to receive a heavenly inspiration. That's what actually keeps us going, talking about faith.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I think that it definitely, that we're stuck in the details or information from our past. Like, we may be seeing what's going on today and putting on what's going on today facts from the past. Like, I don't know if anybody listening, I don't know if you've ever had this, Maya, where you find yourself in a situation that's familiar, but it's a totally different situation, and your head wants to take you to the outcome from the past.
Yes, and that's about anchoring. It's about associations. The longer we live our lives and more experiences we have, good experiences, bad experiences, but definitely vivid experiences. We associate them with something, either with a state of mind, it could be with a certain situation, certain people, certain types of people, and then something similar happens again, not even that similar, but something that reminds you of. That old state can come up, and that could be fear, that could be regret, and we all prone to that. I mean, you and I,
it happens to me all the time.
We both can do that, and we automatically go and do something, and then later on we'll say, why did I do that? Why did I say that? And then it's too late to take words back.
It's very convincing because, we're working with our five senses, and I think that we're like a computer. So we could smell something familiar. We could look at the wallpaper or the carpet, and it reminds us of some painful time or a good time. Gosh, you could even have a euphoric experience and lose all sorts of discernment and judgment
in a very inappropriate situation.
Yeah, it's true. It's
absolutely,
true.
And that will compromise your decision making.
Yeah. Where do you think? Where can you help people? Where do you think that? I mean, I think that the breathing thing is an important thing. But how do you find like your patient's ability to tap into their inner vision, like their inner senses, their inner sight of a situation. Because I think that is a different thing, this idea of an inner vision.
Right. Outer vision and inner vision can be different, and yet I think the goal is to have it the same. Whatever you see outside, that's what you see inside. You see beauty inside, you see beauty outside. There are a lot of ugly things outside, but if your eyes are loving, faithful eyes to yourself of who you are, then world might appear to you differently too. Because people come to me and they say, world is a scary place. Other people come and say world is a violent place, or some people say world is a beautiful place. It's the same world we live in, but based on our experiences, we live different worlds.
Well, I think you can engage in it. Like you can become, you know, like drama. I was talking about drama today at work, like why we have become addicted to drama. You know, just as a humanity, we're addicted to the ride of it, you know, the whole I don't even know the word for it, how to detach from it and observe it. I think that's a very big
I teach people that because of so much stimulation that's going on, so much stress, drama, media, and all of that, we constantly are getting engaged into attachments. And this attachment is about attaching in so many different directions that we become frozen. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
When you attach to one, you kind of can move. Attached to two, you can a little. But if you are attached to 360 degrees of whatever is happening with you, because something is triggering something else from your mind, from your past. So you are becoming very not flexible, very fixed,
frozen.
and frozen, exactly.
Yeah.
And
other people are essentially like a puppet. They're deciding what you do with your life.
Yeah, if you have a 1, 2, 3 attachment, that's what will happen. When you have so many attachments, you will be so frozen that they just take you, you know, from one place and they put you in another place, and you're not even gonna notice.
Right.
You're not even gonna notice.
What does it take for people to realize that? Because I do believe not everybody realizes that that's going on. And do you think that takes an awakening moment? A crisis?
Unfortunately, often that's the case about crisis and awakening moment. And even then, people tend to fall into blaming others. That I was such a good person, and why that happened to me? Why did somebody do it to me? One important thing to do is to have faith in yourself.
Yes.
And how to know that it's a faith in yourself and not in something that you read or heard. Or I believe a power of meditation, power of silence, and sitting in solitude for every day, for a few minutes, half an hour, whatever, you know, however you can do, in silence, just with yourself, is probably the most important thing to do, especially now.
Yes.
To stop being bombarded constantly with not only messages from outside, but also your own thoughts. And when you first start sitting in the silence for first few months, you're gonna have your inner voice scream at you so loud about all the beliefs and regrets and everything. And then in a few months, it's gonna go away and it's gonna be silence. And then when it's silent, wonderful things can happen, but it's a very experiential thing. So we cannot know what it is for everybody. For everybody, it's different.
Yeah, and it definitely does mimic that whole idea that what I was talking about with that child, that Joshua, that young person who was, you know, a child when all this stuff happened, with being free. You know, he was young. And so what he saw was God, God saved us and God put a cloud over us. And it's that energy of the inner child. And the inner child can sit with themselves. An inner child stares at themselves in the mirror and is wowed by the magnificence of divinity. The inner, you know, and I think that we still have that pure soul. And it takes sitting, like you said, it takes sitting down and trying to refamiliarize yourself with that part of you. And to have the courage to listen just to that.
Yes.
Yes. So we'll talk more about different ways to listen to just that so we can see clearly with eyes of faith. This is Rabbi Jenny and Dr. Maya. Keep listening. We'll be right back. The presidential candidates are talking about it. The talk show hosts are talking about it. It's all over the news. Maybe it's time you should start talking about it. Maybe it's time for you to get help. If you or someone you love is suffering from a heroin addiction, Epiphany Resources has the solution for you. Heroin addiction manifests in an apathy and a disinterest in life. At Epiphany Resources, Rabbi Jenny and her acclaimed clinical team reignite and empower their clients to embrace life for a bright future in recovery. With groundbreaking creative and spiritual modalities combined with narrative reframing and cognitive behavioral therapy, the team at Epiphany Resources neutralize the cravings for heroin and reawaken one's desire for joy and life. It's time to talk about it. It's time to heal. It's time to recover from heroin addiction. Contact Epiphany Resources at www.etcfl.com or call 561-777-0241. Epiphany Resources. It's time to begin. The after-school hours between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. are when millions of children go home alone or are without adult supervision. Statistics have shown that during this time, gang involvement, teenage pregnancy, and drug use begins. For the past 15 years, For the Children, Inc., a place where children come first, has been a pioneer in providing quality after-school programming for underprivileged youth aged 5 to 18 in Palm Beach County. Our children are our future. To ensure their success, they must have equal access to quality educational, personal growth, and leadership tools. For the Children, Inc. provides them all. Donate now to For the Children, Inc. at www.forthechildrenfirst.org.
This public service announcement for the Children, Inc. was brought to you by the law offices of Manjula Kaladini, Esquire, concentrating in immigration law. www.immigrationassociates.net.
Hi, it's Rabbi Jenny from The Rabbi Jenny Show. Are you planning a wedding, baby naming, or bar bat mitzvah? Have you recently adopted a pet, bought a new home, or opened a new business? Do you have an important anniversary coming up and would like to renew your vows? Have you recently lost a loved one and need some compassion and care through this process? These are some of the many life events that touch our lives. It is at these moments that we need a special person for guidance and compassion and care to officiate and guide us through those moments. Call me, Rabbi Jenny, at 561-346-8207 to guide you and officiate these life events. 561-346-8207. Rabbi Jenny, for personal compassion and care and loving guidance for the important events of your life.
You have been listening to Rabbi Jenny, who asks, are you ready to bring more light and love and joy into your life? A spiritually uplifting show that will change your world. Call in at 888-565-1470 or email at rabbijenny.com and share your thoughts with Rabbi Jenny. Now, back to our show.
Hey, welcome back. It's Rabbi Jenny. We're here with Dr. Maya. We're talking about seeing with eyes of faith, and we're talking about meditation. We actually went to the break where we were talking about meditation as really one of the main tools for getting in touch with your highest self, or really tapping into how amazing you are, becoming your own best friend, listening to your own best friend. So when other people come at you with different information, you can simply act upon that voice that's most connected to the divine within you. And one of the things we were talking about, listeners, is I don't know if somebody's out there trying to meditate or is getting discouraged, but having meditated about an hour a day for, over 15 years, it gets worse sometimes when you meditate. And I don't mean it, but I mean your mind rebels, whether it's you're like peeling the layers of an onion in your mind. You're peeling back everything over that inner child, everything over that pure voice is being peeled back. What have you experienced, Maya, with that, the ebb and flow of meditation? Like,
it's a ebb and flow of meditation that even now I meditated for many, many years. But even now, sometimes when I have something going on in my life, I made a decision I didn't want to make. I said things I didn't want to say. And I sit to meditate and I just can't.
Right.
And that happens because some voice comes up and say, "Why? What did you just do?" You know better than that. Thankfully, it's usually patient unrelated. I'm very careful with patients, but usually it's about personal life. And I just can't meditate. And then what I have to do is concentrate on my breathing. I don't engage with the voice.
Right.
I just breathe and I listen to my breath. And then I think, who is breathing? I am breathing the air, or air is breathing me. And it kind of always gets me out of that. And then I say, there is no two things. It's not me and that. It's all, we all are one.
Yes.
We're talking about eyes, yes? Your eyes, the faith through eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Looking with the
in
inner.
Chinese medicine, we always look at the spirit through the eyes. There's one spirit, we call it Shen, and Shen is one. It's not that I have a spirit and she has a spirit, you have a spirit. We all share one spirit, and it goes through my eyes to your eyes, to her eyes. And that is a precious connection to keep. And how can we keep it if we're so torn apart with our thoughts, beliefs, messages, drama? So we can take some time during the day to clear, clean, be in silence, be alone, walk on a beach, not necessarily sit cross-legged in a cross-legged position, but just walk on a beach, be by yourself, and don't engage in a conversations with your own thoughts. Just breathing, just being there, listening to whatever is happening, and knowing that whatever you did today, you did the best you could.
Yes.
And tomorrow
Beautiful.
you will do differently, and it will be the best you can tomorrow. And yesterday, what you did, if you knew of the outcome, perhaps you would do a different thing, but you didn't know. So whatever you did was the best you could, given an information you had and your state of mind at that time. And we can work with a state of mind every day by being in silence and accepting who we are and what we did.
What you're talking about, and so beautiful, Dr. Maya, thank you. What you're talking about, and I'm hearing, is this idea of forgiveness. Letting go. Essentially letting go.
You don't even need to have a forgiveness if you every moment accept.
Well, forgiveness has different meanings to different people. I think it triggers, especially some of my friends who grew up in certain faiths. Forgiveness brings up the idea of having actually done something wrong and needing to repent. But I always think of forgiveness as moving forward, just letting, just not attaching, and just keep going, just accept and keep going, just accept and keep going. And if we don't forgive, then we're stuck. So it's less of a judgment thing. I
That's
think
where
that,
regrets are born.
Yes, and I think that some people have a hard time with the word forgiveness, or because they think that what they're saying is what happened was okay. And what you're saying is it happened. And it's time to I'm saying, like, okay, that was a very bad thing, and that was okay that it was very bad, or it was very harmful. No, what you're saying is, okay, moment is gone. I'm now in a new moment, and I'll miss this moment if I'm stuck in that old moment.
Yes.
So tell us tell us about the Dr. Maya Clinic before we keep talking. Website, phone number. How do the listeners reach you?
Well, Dr. Maya Clinic is a Boca Raton locally based clinic, and I also work with people on the phone and on a Skype, depending on the issues that my patients have. My website is drmayaclinic.com. And my phone number is 1-800-590-6292. And Dr. Maya Clinic is an integrative medicine practice. I have connections with the state-of-the-art labs where we run very interesting, very useful tests of a really state-of-the-art test on the nutrition, on the genetic testing for functional nutritional genetics, your analysis of the digestive system, and so on. And also we combine it with ancient modalities of Chinese medicine and other folk medicine.
And it's it's a very peaceful place to be. I've actually had a few treatments by Dr. Maya, and I highly recommend them. I wanted to talk about something we were talking about. We both are moms. And the idea of the story of Joshua, again, is the idea of coming into the world, going into a new land, and will God be there for us in this new, what seems like scary situation? And the idea of your kid going to college. Like Dr. Maya's son is going to college, and my son's going into 8th grade, which he thinks, he acts like he's going into college sometimes. But the idea that sometimes when we go into something new, our faith has to step up to meet it.
Oh, yes, it
does. So share about that, because I just have a feeling there's other moms listening, there's other people listening that are confronting normal old life changes, like a kid going to college.
I had a terrifying moment yesterday when I was buying a ticket. My son is going to Boston to stay there for I don't know how many years. But I was buying tickets to go to Boston, and I was buying one ticket two-way and round trip, and one ticket one-way.
Oh, that's weird.
And I felt terrified.
Yeah.
And then I thought about faith. And then I thought that, there are certain times in life when you don't choose to believe. You have to believe. Mm-hmm. You have to. Because there is nothing else you can do. You can prepare. Somebody suggested me to write a letter for my son and put it in his bag so he can read it later. So there are certain things you can do, but you have to believe. I have to believe. I have to have faith that everything that I put in my child, all the values, all wisdom that I could, I did the best I could. Maybe I didn't do enough. Maybe. But I did the best I could.
Right. And it's that idea, like you were sharing, of acceptance. And I keep thinking, as you're talking about the serenity prayer, which has been made famous by 12-Step Recovery and Bill Wilson in Alcoholics Anonymous. And it's, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. My son's going to college.
Yeah.
My son's growing up. He's going through puberty.
And it's a great thing.
Right.
It's just for me, it's a letting go.
and the courage to change the things I can, which is my own attitude, my own vision, my own state of mind. And then the wisdom, to know the difference between those two things. And, to pray and to meditate and reach out to friends and mostly just be kind to yourself. Because I think that life is about doing new things. We want to do new things, right, Maya? We want to go on adventures.
I remember myself at 17 years old. Yeah.
So if you're kind to yourself, you'll be able to do more. Life is about doing and experiencing.
Being curious.
Yes. And, I want to encourage that in the listeners. I mean, both Dr. Maya, myself, and most of my guests I pride are people who are reaching out into life. Reaching
life is experiential.
Yes,
you have to go and do things.
And you know what? You may think you're staying safe by staying in your world, but your body, like we've talked about, will start to react to that. We're not supposed to be static. We're supposed to be in motion. We're parts of nature. So I believe we're supposed to be shedding and growing and changing and moving. You know, that's what would make the most sense. Let's see. If a client came to you and was having difficulty seeing a situation in faith, what would be the first? Do you question them about that specific event? Do you go into similar events from the past? What's the first step there? Do you listen to their pulse and go from a physical perspective first? How does that work?
Generally, I talk to them, and if they have an issue with faith, with believing in themselves or believing of a certain outcome will happen, I would ask them, what's the most important about this? And if that will not happen, what is the most important thing about that? It's looking at the different scenarios and looking at the values and beliefs that attach to that particular issue. And then it brings stuff from the past. And then sometimes when we talk, a person can say, oh, now I look at it in a little bit different way. Maybe that's not so important the way I expect that. It's mostly about expectations. And when you have expectations, it's hard to have faith. It's hard to be free.
Dr. Maya, it's such a joy. You'll stick around for the last segment. drmayaclinic.com?
Yes.
Okay. Check her out. And this is Rabbi Jenny talking about Eyes of Faith. Keep listening. We'll be right back. The after-school hours between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. are when millions of children go home alone or are without adult supervision. Statistics have shown that during this time, gang involvement, teenage pregnancy, and drug use begins. For the past 15 years, For the Children, Inc., a place where children come first, has been a pioneer in providing quality after-school programming for underprivileged youth aged 5 to 18 in Palm Beach County. Our children are our future. To ensure their success, they must have equal access to quality educational, personal growth, and leadership tools. For the Children, Inc. provides them all. Donate now to For the Children, Inc. at www.forthechildrenfirst.org.
This public service announcement for the Children, Inc. was brought to you by the law offices of Manjula Caladini, Esquire, concentrating in immigration law. www.immigrationassociates.net.
Hi, it's Rabbi Jenny from The Rabbi Jenny Show. Are you planning a wedding, baby naming, or bar bat mitzvah? Have you recently adopted a pet, bought a new home, or opened a new business? Do you have an important anniversary coming up and would like to renew your vows? Have you recently lost a loved one and need some compassion and care through this process? These are some of the many life events that touch our lives. It is at these moments that we need a special person for guidance and compassion and care to officiate and guide us through those moments. Call me, Rabbi Jenny, at 561-346-8207 to guide you and officiate these life events. 561-346-8207. Rabbi Jenny, for personal compassion and care and loving guidance for the important events of your life. The presidential candidates are talking about it. The talk show hosts are talking about it. It's all over the news. Maybe it's time you should start talking about it. Maybe it's time for you to get help. If you or someone you love is suffering from a heroin addiction, Epiphany Resources has the solution for you. Heroin addiction manifests in an apathy and a disinterest in life. At Epiphany Resources, Rabbi Jenny and her acclaimed clinical team reignite and empower their clients to embrace life for a bright future in recovery. With groundbreaking creative and spiritual modalities combined with narrative reframing and cognitive behavioral therapy, the team at Epiphany Resources neutralize the cravings for heroin and reawaken one's desire for joy and life. It's time to talk about it. It's time to heal. It's time to recover from heroin addiction. Contact Epiphany Resources at www.etcfl.com or call 561-777-0241. Epiphany Resources. It's time to begin.
You have been listening to Rabbi Jenny, who asks, are you ready to bring more light and love and joy into your life? A spiritually uplifting show that will change your world. Call in at 888-565-1470 or email at rabbijenny.com and share your thoughts with Rabbi Jenny. Now, back to our show.
Hey, welcome back. It's time for the Joy Jar Challenge. Yeah.
Joy, 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 joy. It's Adeline Gobergstein and it's time for the Rabbi Jenny Ridiculous Joy Jar Challenge.
Hi, it's Rabbi Jenny. Who's on the phone?
Hi, Rabbi Jenny. It's Mara Strack calling.
Mara,
how are you?
Tell me your name again. I couldn't hear it.
Mara, M-A-R-A.
Mara, how are you?
How are you?
I'm good. It's so nice to meet you. Thanks for calling and being a caller on the Rabbi Jenny Show. So tell me, what are 10 things that you are ridiculously joyful for, Mara?
Well, there are probably many more than that, but things that come to mind, I have beautiful, thoughtful daughters. I have a wonderful, supportive mother who's 85 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
Going strong. I have wonderful friends, new and old, moved to Florida 5 years ago and have made many new friends and still keep in touch with all the old ones.
Nice.
And very healthy, yes, yes. And I'm left-handed. Love that.
Me too. Yay!
I really enjoy playing tennis, and I get to play it a lot. Because my next one is I live in Florida.
Yay!
So I can enjoy the weather, and it's a really wonderful thing. I love red wine and chocolate. Makes me very happy. Preferably together.
Okay.
And I'm very happy that I have good nails and teeth.
I like it. Good nails, good teeth, good calcium fortified.
Yes.
Mara has called us. Okay,
Very
got
good.
two more.
And two more I have. Well, I think I have one more.
I lumped the chocolate and wine together.
You did.
I did. You have to
Good.
give me two more.
I'm happy. You know what I'm happy for? I'm happy for my dog, Lily, my best friend.
What kind of
And
dog?
my daughters keep reminding me that I love her better than that, but I'm really jealous.
What kind of a dog?
She's a Boston Terrier and Beagle mix, I guess.
I have a Jack Russell.
She's sweet. Very sweet. And I'm very happy that I found a field of law. I'm a lawyer. I'm very happy I found a field of law that lets me show my kindness, compassion, and empathy for people.
So tell us what you do, Mara. Tell us what you want to promote on the Rabbi Jenny Show.
I'm an elder law attorney.
Oh, wonderful.
After many years of practicing real estate law in Philadelphia, I sort of got dragged into it just by life circumstances. My relatives started to get older and started asking me questions, and I spent a lot of time dealing with the issues that affect seniors, and realized that it grabbed me. It was something that I felt like it was a population that I could put my skills to good use. In Florida, I'm a resident of Delray Beach, but I only make house calls. I go see my clients in hospitals, in their home, or a nursing home. I've been in the VA hospital a number of times. And as an elder law attorney, I not only help people get situated with their life planning documents, which everyone must have, which are the power of attorney and healthcare surrogate and living will. Then, of course, the estate planning document, whether it be a will or a trust.
Very important.
Yeah, and also what I often deal with as an elder law attorney is the helping. What can someone do to help pay for their long-term care, which is very daunting. If they don't have long-term care insurance, or if that's not enough to cover the cost of their care, which very few people have long-term care insurance.
How do we get in touch with you, Mara?
There are benefits available.
How do our listeners get in touch with you? Is there a phone number or website that we can announce on the air for you?
Sure. My phone number is 561-353-8383.
And your website? Do you have a website?
Sure. It's www.stratlaw.com. I'll spell that for you. It's S as in Sam, T as in Tom, R as in Robert, A as in Apple, TTLAW.com.
Thank you.
There's lots of useful information there.
Oh, awesome. All right, Mara, thank you for calling into the Rabbi Jenny Show, and we'll give you one more shout out before I sign out later. And
Thank you so much.
love to you and yours and your little dog and your daughters and everybody and your mom, and have a joyful night.
You too. Thank you, Rabbi Jenny.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
so much. Bye-bye. All right, she's cool. All right, it's such an important area of law in South Florida. We have so many elderly down here and any assistance, so thank you so much for that, Mara. We'll announce that website one more time before we leave. And it is time for the Jenny Jam.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, yo, yo!
Jam. Rabbi Jenny Jam.
Let's see, this one's weird. This is about Joshua, so let's see what we do. It's easy to look upon the storm. It's easy to let the dark take form. It's easy to forget about the light. It's easy to, even though it shines so bright. Yeah, oh, Shua, open up my eyes. Yeah, oh, Shua, help me sing it all. Yeah, oh, Shua, open up my eyes. Yeah, oh, Shua, lift me up before I fall. It's easy to look upon the rain. It's easy to settle for the pain. So easy to forget about that peace. So easy to, even though it would bring you such release. Yeah, oh, Shua, open up my eyes. Yeah, oh, Shua, help me sing it. Oh, yeah, oh, Shua, open up my eyes. Yeah, oh, Shua, lift me up before I fall. I like that one. Kind of a little bit inspired by Erykah Badu. I was listening to a lot of her stuff on the flight to New York. I went up to see the kids from the show a couple weeks ago. The Breaking the Moon show. You can check that out also on my website. I want to talk just one more time about looking through eyes of faith and remind you about our show today, give you some reminder about what we talked about, remind you that it's time for you to see with your inner eyes. And how do you do that? You can take the advice of Dr. Maya and you can spend some time with yourself. The best way to get to know that inner voice, that quiet voice, that one that knows the right way to go, is actually make a commitment to spend some time with that Joshua part of you. And you can simply evoke Hebrew words. You can say those words in the order and the letters, and you can say Yehoshua. And just saying that name causes you to breathe. You have to. Most Hebrew words are geniusly designed to cause you to breathe, because if there's a hey in there, that is the Hebrew letter for breath. So when you say Yehoshua, you got to breathe. That's what you got to do. So we're going to recommend that you meditate and breathe and tap into yourself. And remember that it is very, very easy to see things in a negative way. And it is really, really important for you to remember that you have a choice. You have that choice to see things in a positive light. Why is it so hard for us when we're stuck in that tunnel vision, when we're stuck in that darkness? I was there today. I'm telling you, I was there today. I had the most amazing morning, got in one meeting, and had a whole bunch of poopy dumped all over me, and I just could not climb my way out of it until I was preparing for this show for you, the ones that I love. I love you so much, listeners. I wish I could spend the last few minutes just saying that to you over and over and over again, because that's what you need to hear, that I love you. But when I was preparing for this show, and this is why I love you, I snapped out of it and realized, wait a minute, this is what I'm teaching tonight. I'm teaching Yehoshua. I'm teaching Joshua. I'm teaching that even though we can get stuck in negativity, we can tap the divine. We can get in touch with the divine and remember the light. Remember the good things that have gone on. Remember that not everything is dark. And if you are wanting to try anything new, we always say on the Rabbi Jenny Show, if you're wanting to step out into your life and you're finding it difficult to step out in your life, reach out for some help. Reach out to people like Dr. Maya. Reach out to people who can help you and assist you in getting out of that rut, getting out of that stuck space. I bet you have attachments. I bet you're like those Israelites and those spies in the wilderness, and you're still attaching to a time when you felt enslaved. But you got to tap that Joshua, folks. You got to tap that little kid who didn't care, didn't know, didn't remember. All he knew was freedom. All he knew was dancing and running through water and I mean, I don't know, just some man hitting a rock and water comes. I mean, I don't know. I would think being a guy or a kid during the time of Moses must have been pretty miraculous. Just being the kid in that situation. And that's what we're getting in touch with here on the Rabbi Jenny Show. I want to remind you that I love you, that you are divine light. I want to remind you, I want to say thank you to Mayor Strat. I want you to go to stratlaw.com. I want you to check out the drmayaclinic.com. I want to say thank you to Epiphany Resources. This is MTV Production. This is Rabbi Jenny. I love you. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
You have been listening and lighting up your life with Rabbi Jenny. Join us next week for another session of love, light, and joy as Rabbi Jenny takes life to the next level. Are you ready? Rabbi Jenny says the time is now. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the state